In this video, I'm going to show you the exact strategy that was used to achieve a high win rate. This strategy proved to give accurate buy and sell entries with premium free TradingView indicators. And we will be backtesting the strategy 200 times to prove how effective it is. Okay traders, for today's video, we are looking at the Euro United States dollar. And we are on the 5 minutes time frame. For this strategy, let's quickly introduce the indicators we will be using for the strategy. Before that, please smash the like button and subscribe, as it motivates us on the hunt for the Holy Grail. Now for our first indicator, bring up the indicator panel. For the first indicator, search for the indicator wave trend oscillator. This one right here by Lazy Bear. This is good at measuring wave trends in the market. It works just like the RSI at identifying valid points of overbought and oversold area, only that it's better than the RSI, as it takes into account the strength of a trend when calculating. And for the second indicator, search for the pivot point super trend. This one right here by Lonesome the Blue. This indicator has better performance on keeping you in trend the more, as you tend to earn more from an ongoing trend. And for the third indicator, search for the volume weighted average price indicator. This one right here by TradingView. Why we added this to the chart is because it would help us identify a general trend in the market based on volatility. Also, VWAP is used with intraday charts as a way to determine the general direction of intraday prices. It's similar to a moving average in that when price is above VWAP, prices are rising, and when price is below VWAP, prices are falling. VWAP is primarily used by technical analysts to identify market trend. By now, you should know that this strategy works best on the trending pairs, as our first, second, and third indicator are measurement based on trend with different calculation method. And if you want to achieve the best with this strategy, then focus on trending pairs and see your capital skyrocket. Now for our last indicator, I want you to add the average true range to the chart. This one right here by TradingView. This would be used as our level of stop loss in the market, as it is a technical tool used to measure volatility. Now we are set with our indicators. Let's go over the settings for this indicators. For the ATR and VWAP, we won't be adjusting any of the settings, but we will be doing that for this remaining two. Now for the first indicator, double-click on the wave trend oscillator. On the style, I want you to untick these plots. Then change this to line. And that's all for this indicator. Click the OK button when you are done. And for the last indicator, double-click on the pivot point super trend. On the input, I want you to increase the ATR factor to 9. Now click on the OK button once you are done. And that will be all for the settings. Let's go over the rules for a valid buy and sell signal. For a buy signal to be valid, we first need to check our trend identifier, as we would want to see it on green. This means that we won't be taking any sell trades as long as we have this on green. If this happens to be on green, we would now wait for our wave trend to give us a valid long entry. How do we identify that? First, we would want to see the wave trend close below the zero line. This often tends to be a possible trend retracement. Then we would want to have the green moving average cross above the red moving average while it is still below the zero line. Now watch closely, as this tends to be the crucial point when entering a trade. Before we open a buy stop order, we would first check these two things. 1. Price needs to close below this blue VWAP within the time we had our wave trend cross below the zero line. And 2. Price needs to close or be above the VWAP moving average before we go ahead to place a buy stop order at the peak of the trigger candlestick. Please make sure that at the point of wave trend moving average cross, we need the VWAP to have these conditions met, as if the conditions are not met, we won't be taking any trade. What we mean is this. When we have the green moving average cross above the red moving average while still under the zero line. If price never closed below the VWAP before we had the green and red wave trend cross, as well as not above the VWAP when we got the wave trend cross, then we would not be taking any trades. We want to see these conditions met while the wave trend gives the signal. Also note that we would not take any other trade if when we get our first wave trend cross below the zero line. We won't be taking any other trade, not until we have the wave trend close above the zero line before forming a new condition. Now please note that these errors to look out is also applicable on sell trades. Now, for our stop loss, we would be using 2 times the value of the ATR, while take profit would be 2 times our risk. And we see it was successful. So here is a buy trade we would have taken. We can see we have all our conditions met here, as before we had the wave trend green moving average cross above the red moving average while below the zero line, we had price action close below the VWAP. And when we got an entry signal from wave trend, we can see that price closed above the VWAP. Always make sure you check the values to be sure of when an action occurs. We would then have to open a buy stop order at the peak of this trigger candlestick. Stop loss would be 2 times the value of the ATR. Then take profit would be 2 times our risk. And we see it was successful. Do not forget to avoid the errors mentioned above, as this kind of market trick occurs, and these are stop loss hunters if you are not aware of them. Now exactly the opposite is true for short entry. We first need to check our trend identifier, as we would want to see it on red. This means that we won't be taking any buy trades as long as we have this on red. While we have this on red, we would now wait for our wave trend to give us a valid short entry. How do we identify that? First, we would want to see the wave trend close above the zero line. This often tends to be a possible trend retracement. Then we would want to have the red moving average cross above the green moving average while it is still above the zero line. Before we open a sell stop order, we would first check these 2 things. 1. Price needs to close above this blue VWAP within the time we had our wave trend cross above the zero line. And 2. Price needs to close or be below the VWAP moving average before we go ahead to place a sell stop order at the bottom of the trigger candlestick. Our stop loss and take profit remains the same, as we would place our stop loss at 2 times the value of ATR while take profit is at 2 times the risk. And we see it was successful. Let's now go over our back testing. We would be going over 200 trades. And for that, we will be using account size of $1,000 as well as risking 1% of account size on each trade. Let's dive into it. Okay traders, so we just finished with the back testing for this strategy, and we can see the results are super amazing. First, take a look at the upward slope on the screen. It shows that the strategy is very profitable on the long run as we only traded well-established trends. Although we could notice that there are quite some losing trades, but the risk to reward ratio got you covered as you make 2 times of what you risk. Now let's take a look at the win rate. We made 56% win rate in 200 back-tested trades. having won 112 trades and lost 88 trades, which made us 136% return on investment. So I'm definitely happy with the result. And if we take a look at the risk factor, we can see we had 4 consecutive losses against 3 consecutive wins. Although it's not bad, as 2 winning trades would break even. So traders, make sure you apply the strategy right if you would want to earn monthly income from the market. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.